their eyes, the doe, although it had not fully satisfied itself by drinking water, suddenly leaped across the river. The doe was pregnant, and when it jumped out of fear, the baby deer fell from its womb into the flowing water of the river. It's very cold. And okay. There is every chance of woman's having a miscarriage if she experiences some ecstatic emotion or is frightened. Pregnant women should therefore be spared all these external influences. Okay. Sixth shloka. Being separated from its flock and distressed by its miscarriage, the black doe, having crossed the river, was very much distressed. Indeed, it fell down into a cave, and died immediately. And shloka 7th. The great king Bharata, while sitting on the bank of the river, saw the small deer bereft of its mother floating down the river. Seeing this, he felt great compassion. Like a sincere friend, he lifted the infant deer from the waves, and knowing it to be motherless, brought it to his ashram. So till here we see that the story is mentioned about how before this, like it is mentioned that like how Maharaj Bharata, so he was sitting down in the banks of river Gandaki, and he was performing his like prayers and his devotional service. And at that time he saw that this deer actually came to drink some water, and then she got scared by lion's roar. So and here it is mentioned that by nature the doe was always afraid of being killed by others. So this is also one of the quality of the animals, is that they are always fearful. That is one of the natures of this one. So we see the pigeons, when they come to drink water, so one drop water they'll drink and they'll be like looking everywhere. Is there anybody coming? And they're constantly fearful actually. So this is constantly fearful. It's not just animals; it's also the people, who are bereft of Krishna consciousness. Bhayam ditiyad abhiniveshatashat. So who are not able to see Krishna in every aspect of the creation. So they have to be fearful. So the other side of the fearful nature is that they feel a great enthusiasm in this world, for enjoying this material nature. So that is there. So then the opposite side of the coin is that they'll have fear of existence. So these two things are coming from seeing separate from Krishna, seeing things separate from Krishna. So and so when she heard the lion's tumultuous roar, she became agitated, and looking here and there with disturbed eyes, like she tried to leap over the river. And then she was pregnant, and when she jumped out, the baby actually fell down into the flowing river. And here it's mentioned that during the time of pregnancy, aesthetic emotions or is frightening situations. So extreme emotional things can actually affect the situation. So they should be spared of all these external influences. So that is mentioned here. And then being separated from its flock and distressed by miscarriage. So like the deer was not able to have a good health, and it went to a cave and then it died over there. So now it comes the point of Bharat Maharaj. The great king Bharata, while sitting on the bank of the river, saw the small deer bereft of its mother floating down the river. Seeing this, he felt great compassion. Like a sincere friend, he lifted the infant deer from the waves, and knowing it to be motherless, brought it to his ashram. So here we see that it's the compassion is mentioned about, and then friendship is mentioned about. So these are all qualities of a great sadhu. It is very, very essential. So when we study pastimes like this, it should not become like people become a sadhu should not become hard-hearted, and also should not become like enemy of people. So these two things are very importantly mentioned. So in fact, I always remember the aspect of Parikshit Maharaj, when he is asking for the blessings. So he is asking that Punascha Bhuyat Bhagavat Dhanante Ratir Prasangascha Tadashrayeshu Mahatsuyamyam Upayam Shishtam Maitras Maitrastu Sarvatra Namo Dvijebhyo. So like he is requesting for friendship with all the living entities. No, he want to develop friendship with all the living entities, because any grudge maintained towards any living entity, so that is going to block our path back to Krishna consciousness. So it is not going to help us, because any grudge maintained towards any living entity who is part and parcel of Krishna is actually no, it's actually like having enmity towards Krishna himself. So, like we may develop very intimate friendship with the sadhus. So, but then we have to develop friendship with or we have to have a friendly attitude towards all living entities. That is very, very essential, because everything is part and parcel of Krishna. There is nothing which is separate from Krishna. So that is very essential. So in that way, the being a sincere friend of a living entity is a very essential and important aspect. And feeling compassion is also very important aspect of a sadhu. So now then, where is the problem? So we will study the purport. The laws of nature work in subtle ways unknown to us. Maharaj Bharata was a great king, very advanced in devotional service. He had almost reached the point of loving service to the Supreme Lord, but even from that platform, he could fall down onto the material platform. So, like, this is a warning that is there, that from any place, from any situation, or even up till the point of bhava, so there is good chance of anybody can fall from his position, fall from his advanced devotional service. So that chance is there, and the laws of nature works in subtle ways. That is also very nicely, this whole pastime depicts. So, but another important thing that is also depicted in this pastime is that even if some fall down happens like that, so the Lord is always merciful to his devotees. So how does he shows his mercy towards Bharat Maharaj in the later portion? Remembrance. That is this one. So we can see that who is greatly favored by the Supreme Lord. So the person who is greatly favored by the Supreme Lord will be that shloka from Bhagavad Gita. What is? Tesham eva anukampatam. So when I become very, very merciful, or very very merciful towards a living entity, so then I destroy the ignorance, and then I light the lamp of knowledge, right? So knowledge for us, like notice, knowledge means knowledge about the Supreme Lord. That is Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. So that is the actual knowledge or tattva. So like remembrance, about the Supreme Lord is actually lighting the lamp. Krishna Surya Sama. Like there is no other source of light. So that light is, or the lamp is nothing but Krishna. So remembrance of Krishna that is given. So that is the greatest benediction, or that is the greatest favor that the Supreme Lord is actually doing to a living entity. So externally, he may be born as a deer, he may be born as a Jada Bharat, or he may be taken through so much of difficult patch of life, so where dacoits were about to kill him and things like that. So he was on the point of knife. So whatever it may be, if the remembrance of Krishna is given, so that means he is being favored by Krishna. So if the remembrance of Krishna is not given, so that means he has been neglected by Krishna. So this neglected by Krishna, that Prahlad Maharaj's prayer is there, no? What does? Svad upekshitanam. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro anushimma nartasya chagadam udanvati majjatono taptasya tat pratividir ihanjasheshtas tavad vibho tanubrutam tvad upekshitanam. So like if somebody is neglected by the Lord, so even if the father is there next to, or the parents are there next to the child, so still they may not be able to protect the child. Even if the doctor is there, an expert doctor, and all the facilities are there, so and the dying patient is there, still he may not be able to protect. And a drowning man cannot be saved by the boat which is standing next to him. Boat na aake utayenge nahi. So boat dekhte rahega doobne tak. And then in that way, like whatever what is that? Whatever antidote, for any problem of life in this world is there, so they will not be able to save the person, till the time, when he's been neglected by the Supreme Lord, tadupekshitana. So this is like neglected by the Supreme Lord. So then it is, what is the point that we are discussing? Neglected by Supreme Lord? Before this?
Those who are neglected by Krishna, they don't get his remembrance.
So they don't get his remembrance. The favor of Krishna should be understood as the remembrance of the Lord, the opportunity to stay in association, the opportunity to remember, the opportunity to chant, the opportunity to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the favor of the Supreme Lord. So like the other things, the external things, it may or may not be like given by the Lord. So everything should be taken as favor of the Supreme Lord. So like if somebody gets a good job, that should be taken as favor. And if somebody is no, I'm just telling positive aspects. Somebody is able to get some like positive aspects in life, that should also be taken as the favor of the Lord. But it is not that much of a favor. It is like if a big donor is there and he's capable of giving 1 crore, and if he gives 1,000 rupees, like that is also favor of the donor, but it is not the it is not the, what is it, the best favor that he is doing actually. So in the same way, so the Lord, everything that is given by the Lord, a good body, good health, and everything is a favor of the Lord, but that is not that great a favor, of the Lord. So the great favor of the Lord is remembrance of the Lord. So that is why, sometimes the devotee, prays to the Lord that if money, position, and other things are given by the Lord to him, so he may pray to the Lord that a sincere devotee may pray to the Lord that, no, Lord, like you have given me all these favors, I'm very grateful to you, but no, you have cheaply settled the account. No, so don't settle like this. If you want, you take all these things, but give me remembrance. Give me your remembrance. So that is the real favor, that you can give, and that's what the scriptures talk about, and that's what I want. And rest of the things, no, I don't mind even if it is taken off. So that's the mood a sincere devotee actually keeps. And here we see the laws of nature. They are working very subtle ways, and they are actually testing the living entity. Quality check is happening. Before a living entity actually goes back to the spiritual world. So this quality check has to happen. And again, the danger is there. Like even at the very exalted state of bhava, so still, there is all possibility of danger. So that is there. So danger is to forget Krishna, and the favor is to remember Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita, we are therefore warned that yamhina vyatayantete purusham purushashaba samadukka sukham dhiram somritatpaya kalpate. O best among men, Arjuna, the persons who are not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So now happiness and distress comes, so that can actually disturb a person. So from where he should not be disturbed, the previous point that we were trying to establish is the remembrance of the Lord. So that is where he should not be disturbed from. So like happiness may come and distress may come. The steadiness of a devotee is seen that how he is able to keep his Krishna consciousness in both happiness and distress. If he is able to take shelter of Krishna, so then it is fine. If he is not able to take shelter of Krishna, so then he has to work on. So this there is a lot more thing to be worked on. So now we see that natural aspect of a devotee is that he naturally takes shelter of Krishna. So anytime like any problem is there, we see that the devatas and the demons, so the difference is seen that sometimes the demons also worship the Lord, for getting or worship some higher authorities to get some benefit. So approaching a higher authority is there, everywhere. So, but then when problem happens, when there is a serious problem happens, so how much they are taking shelter of a superior, person. Like for example, sometimes the devatas go to Vishnu, and sometimes they go to Brahma. Sometimes they go to their spiritual master, Brahaspati. Like, they take shelter in the line of disciplic succession. They take shelter of somebody, and they try to approach them. So in terms of difficulty, so a demon will always think that I should handle the problem myself, and like a sadhu or a deva will always think that I should take shelter of a superior authority. So, and the demons sometimes they in the problem they worship also, like Hiranyakashipu, when the serious problem was there, they worship. But then their attitude is that you give, like, I want this benediction. I've not come here to ask you what I'm supposed to do. I have come here with a clear request. and this is what I want. You give me and you forget about it. I'll handle. You give me like power that I'll not die in the day, night, this, that, and all those benedictions they ask. And then you give me this, then I know like how to handle the situation. I'll handle it. So like that. So that's the disposition of this one. And here we see that this is one thing we even Gita course we try to highlight upon this point, that Arjuna, such a qualified person, he's a very great fighter, great kshatriya, and knowledgeable also, like very very knowledgeable, and in front of everyone he is telling to his spiritual master that I don't know what to do, please instruct me. And what is that we put over there in that slide? It is not a disgrace. It is, what do we actually put there? Anyone remember? Okay, it is not a disgrace actually. It is perfectly okay, if we take shelter of a superior authority. So in the closed book examination, there was one question that what is it? Being defeated by a superior is not a problem. So when Krishna helped Arjuna when he was overpowered by Bhishma, so that was not problem. That was not an insult. But he getting close to defeat in equal with Karna or something like that, that is a problem. So then no illegal means can be used, to this one, what is that? Situation talne ke liye illegal means can be used, and that is the same rule applied when Abhimanyu was there. He was like really, creating havoc in the Kaurava's army. So then illegal means were used, like अरे बच्चा like इसके सामने कैसे हारेंगे. So Prabhupada clarifies in that purport that if there is a defeat were to happen with an equal or a inferior, then illegal means can be used. That's the law of the warfare. Kshatriya ka fighting mein सब chalta hai. So like that. So in that way, like again I forgot the point from where I got this. Yeah. So the point is that in terms of difficulty, so the devatas actually they approach the higher authorities, and then somehow or other they try to reinstate in their position, and they take shelter of the Supreme Lord. The shelter of Supreme Lord means either the Lord or the Lord's expansions or the Guru Parampara, so or some element which is very very tightly connected to the Supreme Lord. So this is very very essential. So till the time a living entity is in the position of like I know things, I will handle things, so he'll be very very miserable. That's the miserable existence. And when we are able to put ourselves at the shelter of the Supreme Lord, so then we feel a lot of security and we feel a lot of lightness at heart. So we'll feel that some security is there, some protection is there. So that revelation and taking shelter, it helps a lot actually. And that helps, like on our own, we will not be able to be not disturbed by happiness and distress. But if you are always under the shelter, so then we'll be regulated, saying that, okay, in this situation, how to see Krishna. So that's the protection that we get from our superiors. So in this particular situation, how to see Krishna. So that is the only thing that we want from the shelter of the Supreme Lord, right? So and we see that the spiritual salvation and liberation from material bondage must be worked out with great caution. Otherwise, a little discrepancy will cause one to fall down again into material existence. So this is the negative aspect, and the positive aspect is, so even if a great devotee falls to the material existence, so Krishna is always merciful to him. Krishna is always there to protect him, like in terms of remembrance and in terms of bringing him back into Krishna consciousness. So like the Krishna consciousness is not a very, in that sense, yeah, like we have to be careful not to regress. So, but even if we regress, there is Krishna is very merciful. Krishna Bada Dayamay. That is the most very powerful, very soothing this one. Yeah. So by studying the activities of Maharaj Bharata, we can learn the art of becoming completely freed from material attachment. And as it will be revealed in later verses, Bharat Maharaj had accepted the body of a deer due to being overly compassionate for this infant deer. We should be compassionate by raising we should be compassionate by raising one from the material platform to the spiritual platform. Otherwise, at any moment, our spiritual advancement may be spoiled and we may fall down onto material platform. So this is talking about preaching. No, we should be compassionate by raising one from the material platform to spiritual platform. Otherwise, at any moment, our spiritual advancement may be spoiled and we may fall down onto the material platform. Not able to understand this exactly why it has come here.
That's help for the deer was we do this kind of help like
So here it's written, we should be compassionate by raising one from material platform to spiritual platform. That means we should preach to people and bring them to spiritual platform. So if we don't show that compassion, otherwise at any moment our spiritual advancement may be spoiled and we may fall down onto the material platform. And Maharaj Bharata's compassion for the deer was beginning of his fall down into the material world. So now here, as we had defined, Krishna consciousness and the material consciousness is seeing things, seeing everything in connection with Krishna, and doing everything as Krishna would like us to do. And so that is the Krishna consciousness, and definitely the compassion is appreciated. But then compassion, as Prabhu was mentioning, that the compassion on the material platform, so that is not appreciated, because the material platform can again inspire a lot of materialism into the system. So like once we start seeing something different from Krishna, or something this is an activity which I'm doing, but it is, I'm not able to see a instruction, or I'm not able to see a direction from the Supreme Lord or the Guru Parampara for this particular activity. So then it is considered to be material. Then it is differentiated vision. It is something like different from Krishna consciousness. So here we see that sometimes consciously a living entity goes in that direction. So he knows that there is no direction for me to do this particular activity, but then the heart says, no, I want to do this activity. So then what happens? Then he gets into the material pool, or otherwise sometimes unknowingly. Here in this case, Bharat Maharaj, like unknowingly he is getting into this situation. Like he didn't have any association around him who can actually come and tell him that Prabhu, whatever you are doing is wrong, so you should not do this. So he didn't have the security and protection around. So and then on his own also, he could not able to realize that it is a mistake, right? So, or maybe I don't know if I don't remember, it's been long time since I read this passage. So whether his intelligence kicked in between any time, and told no, maybe what you are doing is wrong. No, intelligence did not tell. Fully convinced. Fully convinced. So that's how, when the Lord switches off the light, so we will not be able to see any light. We will be able to see only darkness, right? So that is the position. Our position is that we are fallible, and anytime we can be actually covered by the ignorance of material nature, and it is the Lord's choice. If Lord switches off the light, we will not be able to see anything. So we should not be very proud of our capacities and position and things like that. So the Lord can anytime actually make us back to Punar Murshika Bhava. So Lord can anytime make us into a humble rat. We can be a humble warrior in the in the mission of the Lord. So otherwise we'll become a humble rat in the mission of the Lord. So in that way, we should be very careful about it. The Lord can actually anytime he can make us again into a ignorant person, then we will not even know that we have come into this. So that is why these basic aspects of Krishna consciousness. So in the science of Bhakti Yoga, in that session, we try to cover this one. Devotional service means that Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. So engaging the senses in the service of the Lord, and it must be performed according to the scriptures, the pramana, and it should be performed in association of devotees, and it should be performed with prayers and gratitude and avoiding of offenses and practicing of etiquette. So this actually forms the whole bhakti yoga actually. So if this is not there, anything is missing, no, like then it will actually become a leaky bucket. So we may perform devotional service, but then we will not get the no desired result of devotional service, right? So it should be according to the script, engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. So if any one of the senses is not engaged, that only will create problem to us. No, that only will no. That is the route through which Maya will enter inside. So all the senses, mind and intelligence, and then performed according to the scriptures, according to the pramana, and according to in association of devotees, prayers, gratitude, and avoiding of offenses and practicing of etiquettes. No, so this is like something like it's very essential to be followed. So here, we can actually see that even at a very advanced stage, a devotee may be able to handle himself. So, but then it is always good to be in association of devotees. No, otherwise it is very dangerous for us. Like when we will be able to, when we will get into a wrong path, and especially like this is more applicable to me. Like people who are like the senior most in the this one, so they generally get into this problem of now my superiors may not come and correct me every small thing. Right? Like no, we made you into a leader. Now you see like what is the best you can do. You do. So at this point, like we should have the culture right from the beginning, to always take corrections and always take guidance. So then even when we are expected to be independent, we will naturally and voluntarily we will actually submit ourselves to somebody and take corrections. Otherwise it becomes this scenario can happen to every one of us. And in fact it is mentioned the leaders generally like the leaders are the ones who are very what is that lonely, because like everybody respects them and then nobody wants to correct them. And then no, everybody thinks that now this person like no, he can no, he's an advanced devotee, like now he can handle himself. So that is when the whole this one comes. Like that is when we should be proactive and we should take always like submit ourselves to somebody and have some friends in Krishna consciousness and have some superiors in Krishna consciousness who can actually have the right to correct us at any point in time. So with this I pause. Any questions or comments you can take. Yeah, so devotional service means engaging all the senses, mind and intelligence in Krishna's service. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. So then it should be performed. This engagement of devotional service should be according to the scriptures, and it should be done in association of devotees. And then it should be accompanied with prayer and gratitude. So that includes the humility aspect. And then etiquette and offenses. So this we are developing into a 6-session this one. So in the IVF, like in the level 3, like I took all the almost all the this ones. Offenses and etiquette I didn't take. So rest of the things I took in the this one. Huh? That will take in level 2. And level 4 में जो अभी करेंगे वो level 3 कर देंगे. Oh, offenses and etiquettes, okay. That we can take in level 4. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. See, this freedom is actually very, very essential. As Prabhupada mentions that, what is that? Turns sand into gold. Ownership. Ownership turns sand into gold. So definitely Srila Prabhupada wanted that, and that's how he created, different temples and temple presidents, and then he gave this one. So in fact, I asked once this question to Jayadvaita Maharaj that Maharaj, like Prabhupada talks about like this democracy as demon crazy and stuff like that. And then within ISKCON, we see that in the highest level we have GBC, and all decisions are taken in discussion and meetings and things like that. So then he told, yeah, like amongst the Brahmanas there can be like amongst elevated souls there can be what is that election and common like consensus and meeting and things like that. But at the lower level, no temple, like there the temple president is a Kshatriya. He should be given freedom, and he should be like, that is when he'll be able to create something wonderful, right? So there at that level the freedom is given actually. Like freedom and area is given, and they're allowed to experiment and things like that. So that is there. So but at the same time, so here at the very, very initial stage, we may be quite protective about a living entity, quite protective about a new devotee, that he may not do a mistake and things like that. So after we educate him for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, then after that we see that they are able to like grasp the concepts of Krishna consciousness nicely. So then independence should be given. Now you do your activities. Now you do your this one, like we give you freedom. So now you do your practice or like your expansion and preaching and things like that, right? So in that way we see that when the devotee develops some level of self accountance, so what is it, self accountability, so then we give them freedom, like that. So that at that time, so it becomes the self accountability. The devotee should be like more careful from his side, that he should take guidance and advice and things like that. So initially, like guidance is given if we want or not, still guidance is given. Later on, we should want. If you don't want, nobody will give guidance. Right? So, like traditionally, as the Kshatriyas used to perform, like they would voluntarily go and ask guidance from the Brahmanas. Right? So that's how it is. It should be performed. So that is the thing that we see also, like when we want to give freedom. So the thing is, like, if this person can self-fuel himself, if he is in difficulty, he'll go and take shelter of somebody. So हो गया उसका काम हो गया, like उसको free कर दो. So then he can take care of himself. The main thing is that he needs to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, and he should always be in Krishna consciousness, and he should actively do something in the mission of the Lord. So then he is like self-sufficient. We can give him freedom. And time to time, like we come in Brahmacharya Association and all other leaders association and things like that. So there we again remind ourselves of these things, that this is very essential thing, like that. Any other questions or comments? It's a very important subject actually. So in the initial days of my Krishna consciousness, I was going through this section and was hearing from many Maharajas were coming at that point in time especially, and they were giving a lot of nice classes. So but my take, though they explained very nicely, my take was devotee should be heartless. So but then that is not right. So devotee must have compassion, devotee must be friend of all living entities, but then in that process he should not lose sight of Krishna. So that is a important this one. So the materialism is defined by forgetting Krishna. So and spiritualism is defined by remembrance of Krishna. So in the whole process, he should not forget Krishna. So that is the main thing.
Yes. I like this point which you made, that in different situations, seniors teach us how to take shelter of Krishna. So that is something that is very nice. Because in a difficult situation only, it is very difficult to take shelter of Krishna. So that is the time when we take shelter of superiors, and they remind us that every situation or every crisis is an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. So there, the role of seniors is very, very important. And a mature senior is the one who will push the subordinate towards the Lord in that particular situation.
in this connection, I just want to make a point that so all of you also are guiding in various capacities, people. So the main thing is when somebody comes with a problem, financial problem, or some other problem. So always Bhaktivinoda Maharaj used to tell that no, our devotees sometimes become financial advisor, marriage broker, and all the all the things. No, but we should understand we are not the subject matter expert in that particular area. So like our role is that our primary role is that as a guide. So how to see Krishna in this particular scenario, how to be Krishna conscious in that particular scenario. And then we may offer the solution, we may not be able to offer solution based on our capacity, based on our material understanding or subject matter expertise in that particular this one. So sometimes people come with family problem, so maybe an expert counselor may be required to handle that. So we should not be a catalyst in the family problem and increase the problem in the family. And financial problem, no, we should not take up this ones. So though I'm from a Vaishya family and I know like many of the financial dealings, but still like somebody comes with a financial problem, I'll tell like no, you should take a financial advisor and you should consult him. So then it will be good for you. So basic like upar se little bit I can tell, but I'm not an expert in that. So and I cannot advise beyond this point. So and devotees will come with this one ki no Prabhu, you just tell me, I'll execute. No, it is not like that. It does not work like that. So I'm not end all of all the distance. No, I am also living entity. I have limited capacity. So no, I have a role to help you to see Krishna in different situations. And if I am also disturbed by the narration of your problem, then I will take you to my superior, and then together we'll try to see how to see Krishna in this situation, right? So in that way, like we should see that. So that is our primary role, that how we can be Krishna conscious in this situation. So that's the primary role of a guide. So we should stick on to that role, and other things if we can, we can do. If we cannot, so then we can guide them to appropriate direction.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for the class. So there are many points which I have taken away, which I want to work upon. Animals, they are constantly fearful because they are bereft of Krishna consciousness. They are body conscious. So my takeaway is that when we become body conscious, we become like animals, and we are always fearful. So we should try to be Krishna conscious. Any grudge maintained towards any living entity will block the path back home, back to God. So I have to work on this. I have so many grudges in my heart. Krishna favors his devotee by giving him his remembrance. So I have to understand that the greatest favor in any situation is the remembrance of Krishna and not anything else. No Janam Dhanam Sundarim will actually give any favor. Happiness may come, distress may come, but the stability of a devotee means how uninterrupted is his remembrance of Krishna. So, in all circumstances, this is the yardstick. Those who don't take shelter of superiors in a crisis are demons. So, I'm a demon. And those who take shelter of superiors, they are demigods. Because this time in which we take shelter of superiors, it helps us to be regulated in the practice of Krishna consciousness. These are some points which I have taken away. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are many wonderful points. So one of the point which you meant, like the remembrance of the Lord is the greatest favor. So we were doing a number of services, but not remembering Krishna. So there's not much. So put effort also to remember Krishna. Why I am doing this service, particular service, to please Guru and Krishna. And
This direction, like the morning program that we do, that's primarily for the purpose of remembrance of God. So we should try to see that any other service, any other thing that is following in our mind. So we should try to tell ourselves, this is a time that is meant for remembrance. So I should just simply meditate on the form of the Lord,
meditate on the sound vibration of the different prayers that we are chanting in the Hare Krishna mantra and things like that. So morning sadhana is primarily for this purpose, developing remembrance of Krishna.
And all the senses should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Even if one sense is left, so that is enough to bring on the material platform. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम। सो भरत महाराज की स्टोरी से मैं एक समझा प्रभु जी, तो ये बात है कि कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस इज ए मेन बिजनेस है, तो बाकी सब साइड बिजनेस है। तो हम साइड बिजनेस पर ज़्यादा फोकस करेंगे, ज़्यादा कंपनसेट करेंगे, तो जितना माइंड को जितना समय उस पर देंगे तो वहीं पर माइंड अटक जाएगा, तो उससे हम फिर माइंड को वापस करना भी लेना भी बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है। इसी तरह भरत महाराज भी कंपैशनेटली पसकाए थे। हम भागवत श्रीमद् भागवतम में हम देखते वासुदेव महाराज बोलते कि माइंड का ओके थिंकिंग फीलिंग एंड विलिंग, तो माइंड का फ्यूचर थिंकिंग विलिंग एंड फीलिंग, हम ज़्यादा थिंक करेंगे उसके बारे में, विलिंग करेंगे उसके बारे में, फीलिंग कंपैशनेट ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे, तो उससे हम जितना हम अटैचमेंट होंगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो, तो इसलिए वो साइड बिजनेस पर ज़्यादा फोकस करने लग गए तो भरत महाराज। सो मेन बिजनेस कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस को वो उसको साइड बना दिए, इसलिए उसका मेन प्रॉब्लम हो गया। तो और इसके बाद और अब समझा है कि रिमेम्बरेंस भगवान ने कृपा से रिमेम्बरेंस देते भगवान, वो कृपा से हम वही ग्रेट मर्सी है भगवान का। उसके उसके अतिरिक्त जो कुछ भी देते हैं वास्तव में भगवान जो हम वास्तव में हम भक्ति की पथ पर अभी स्टेप नहीं डाले, हम जितना स्टेप हम भक्ति की पथ में चलेंगे उतना स्टेप भगवान, मैंने एक कहीं लेक्चर में मैं कुछ साल पहले मैं ये सुना था, जब हम भगवान की तरफ एक स्टेप आगे लेंगे, भगवान हमारे तरफ 100 स्टेप्स आगे लेंगे। हम एक स्टेप लेंगे, भगवान 100 स्टेप्स हमारे लिए आगे लेंगे हमको लेने के लिए, इतना भगवान कंपैशनेट है, उतना दयामय है भगवान। सो ये मत में हरे कृष्ण भजन। और एक बात मैंने कृष्णा भक्ति बिना व्यर्थ ये दरिद्र जीवन, सो वही इम्पोर्टेंट जीवन के। हरे कृष्ण, थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for nice class. So you told like regarding the comparison, so it's appreciated, but at the same time also we need to check the material. Is it material or it is like in spiritual platform? And also check the connection with Krishna. Otherwise you will think like that one, like whatever you told, like the Maharaj conclusions. And also second point you told like making friendship to all living entities, that also. So very nice point. And also like even if the great devotees will fall down, the same times Lord is so merciful, he will take care of devotees.
I have only one point. The point is that the complete Krishna conscious how to perform, that engage all senses in the service of the Lord. Devotional service we have to do as per the scripture, and do in association of the devotees, and follow etiquette, prayers with the gratitude. So I take away this point from, I try to follow this. Thank you.
Hare Krishna ji, thank you so much for a very nice class. Couple of points that I noted. Those people who are bereft of Krishna consciousness will always be in fear, and steadiness of the devotee is seen when he is able to remember, take shelter of the Lord and the devotees during their difficulties. Be it doesn't matter good or bad times, they must always be under the good or bad times. They must always be under the shelter of the Lord and the devotees. And the devas, you gave the difference between the demons and the devas, where the devas are always under the shelter of the Lord and the parampara. And when a person isn't dependent on Lord and he's dependent on himself, his life is always going to be miserable. And one must take protection from the superiors, and the superiors give us protection by helping us see Krishna in all the situations, and it is our duty to take shelter, be able to see Krishna in everything and take shelter of the Lord. And eventually it doesn't matter whether the end result is going to be, if you're going to succeed or fail, but being under the shelter of the Lord is the primary goal of our life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. हमने बताया कि favor of Lord is understand through my remembrance of Lord. when we do service, if it's not connected our guru or Krishna, then it is material. Or we should not proud our health, power, money. Lord can remove any moment. Okay. We should engage our all senses in service of Krishna through Guru and Krishna Shastra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, very nice point you mentioned that devotee should be compassionate, but he should not forget Krishna in that compassionate thing. And if in the compassion, like if the compassion is not for pulling a person from material to spiritual platform, then becomes material. Matlab, that won't help the other person, and it won't help the devotee also. He will also go into the material platform. And the great favor of the Lord is remembrance of the Lord, chanting and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the favor of the Lord. Other things are also favor, but they are like very less. They are like getting cheated because we can get something higher. And this point you mentioned that as the blessings, Parikshit Maharaj asked for friendship to all living entities. So this it looks very difficult because to maintain friendship with few devotees only becomes difficult. So friendship to all living.
That's the goal. No?
Okay.
Yes. That's the goal. So if we start seeing Krishna in every living entity, then we'll be able to maintain friendship with them. So that's a goal. That's a prayer.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, one point, for example, this entire scenario or this entire katha tells us like how we should not be over compassionate and spoil our Krishna consciousness. But on the other extreme, for example, this can become an excuse also for people like me, like not listen to anyone or their problems because it's material and because it's very comfortable for me. This is Maya or this is something, but at least when like we are working or something or someone comes with their problem, at least listen to them. It might like happen, it might affect you also, but it's not like you completely reject them. Ki it's completely Maya, don't even listen. So that's why you explain like over a period of time when we develop spiritual consciousness, then we'll be able to see Krishna in that situation, and somehow the other will be able to counsel them how to like see this situation and all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have one more point. Prabhuji. You are said not even animals also, but human beings also, those who are not in Krishna consciousness, non-devotees, they are also very fearful. Like that you are said, Prabhuji. Sometimes when I was small, then no also. Then when I was scared to ghost, so it means even when I'm not. That's as we were not in that the one word like one garje sai wo sab ye
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So you mentioned that, however advanced one may be, he has probability to fall down. But Lord is very merciful to us by giving him his remembrance, and those who are neglected by Lord don't get his remembrance. Steadiness of devotee is tested in like his devotional service in happiness and distress. In happiness and distress, so steadiness of devotee is tested if like he continues to render devotional service. And we should be compassionate by raising one from material platform to spiritual platform, and not be compassionate in solving their material problems. So one question also I had is like, if a devotee is like distressed with material problems, so means not very much advanced, but so should we preach to him? Because like once I happened like in such scenario, so like he became angry and he told like I'm not getting job since like now like 2 years, and I'm telling you, you are always telling Krishna, see Krishna and Krishna's arrangement and all these things.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what we were telling, that it is not that we should not give any material solutions at all. So we should help them materially also. But in the process, we should not lose Krishna consciousness. We should not lose our Krishna consciousness. So that is the whole point actually. So the living entity is struggling for a certain this one, and if they are taking up Krishna consciousness, and in the process, like, we can help them out in their material this one, but with utmost care of our own Krishna consciousness. We should not get too much busy of taking care of them materially only, you know. So we should know like how to do this art, you know? So that's why we should take, you know, guidance from the superiors at that point in time, you know, how to actually do this thing. So you can discuss these points in, you know, your youth preaching meeting also, that what extent we can actually do the material help and what extent it can, you know, yeah, like, no, we should help spiritually, but materially also we should help. I think in the Ramanatha Prabhu's seminar, you know, he discussed about this, no? Bhakti Viksha leaders ka training, no? At least in ACS, I saw that. Now, when I walked into that is the subject that was going on here. So that is, you know, it can be given, but it is an art. You know, it has to be done appropriately. You know, that if all of you devotees sit and discuss, wonderful points will come. You know, you yourself will understand that aspect. Hare Krishna. Nantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada